Welcome back, everyone. We are here. You may notice it's still Steve. No, no, it's Steve. Steve, we were just talking, and we're like, had such a great time, such a good conversation, and he was just like, you know what, let's go, let's do another one. So to kind of begin, Beach Hut Deli, you're owner of a Beach Hut, couple Beach Hut delis,
Yeah.
right? I think that's just so, for everyone who's trying to be an entrepreneur or trying to own a business. And I just think it would be great. I know it's a golf podcast, but I also love to hear people's stories with golf or otherwise. So just, if you can kind of take us through the story of how you came to that and just kind of take us along on that journey,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So
I mean,
I know it's a loaded question,
no,
but
no, and of course, obviously, golf always blends in with business,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so they kind of go hand in hand. It's funny. I was in high school. I went to Oakmont High School, and I got a job at Beach House Deli. It's this sandwich shop out in Granite Bay on Douglas and Folsom, Auburn. And it was December of 2000. I was just getting ready to graduate high school. And my buddy Ryan Santini used to work there. And he was off to the military and said, "You can take my job." And I said, "Sweet." So I started making sandwiches there. And I had a blast. I loved it. I loved making food. I loved eating sandwiches. I loved everything about it. And I kind of progressed into, different a role of somewhat of a leadership role at the original store. I worked for Troy Feist. He's our founder, and what he calls head sandwich maker dude. And
Yeah.
yeah, so he started it in 1981 right there, and it's just grown. And so here we are in 2000. It's a almost 2 decades established sandwich shop, and I started working for him, and I loved it. And I was worked there all day, and then I would go serve tables at Tahoe Joe's at night
Oh yeah.
over there, by Sunsplash.
Yep. Yeah. I worked at
And
Cattleman's actually.
oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Cattleman's
remember,
great too.
yeah.
So we were probably competition
Yeah.
back there.
Yeah.
But
If our line was too long, they'd go to
yeah,
Tahoe
it's
Joe's or
true.
vice versa.
They really would.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
kind of in 2000, a few years after I started working there, Troy, and he went and applied for a franchise license. The Department of Corporations is similar to probably getting a real estate license, maybe even a little scarier to apply for a franchise. And so Troy became the franchisor, and we realized the name Beach House Deli was already used. It was a sandwich shop. I think it was in Venice Beach or somewhere in SoCal, and it was burgers. So he says, well, we got to rename it. So we went to Beach Hut Deli. So Beach Hut Deli was established as a franchise.
Okay.
And so in 2000, and I believe 2004, we opened our first franchise location. So that was at the corner of Watt and Fair Oaks. That was our fourth store. So the Rockland store and the Folsom store were already opened under the name Beach House Deli. And once we franchised, we started at Beach Hut Deli.
Okay.
And then I believe
so
our fifth one, we kind of were off to the races from there.
yeah. So it's funny when you first said Beach House, I was wondering if that was a mistake or
No,
but
that
no,
was
it
the
makes sense.
original
Now, see,
name,
yeah.
but
So
it was
I was
already
letting the story
used.
develop. So I was like, yeah, let's
so
go, see where it goes. But
so now we're out under
Beach
Beach
Hut?
Hut, and I'm off on the races helping Troy, train new franchisees and train stores. And in 2007, I got the opportunity that the Folsom franchisee was Tara, bless her heart. I love her. I still talk to her. Tara had a couple kids, and she says, I can't do this anymore. And Troy kind of came to me and said, I appreciate you helping me opening franchises, but maybe now's your opportunity to own one of these. And I said, well, Troy, I don't have any money. And he says, well, maybe you can take a little bit of your money you saved from serving tables at Tahoe Joe's and give it to the existing franchisee, and she'll carry the note for you. And so long story short, Tara and I kind of came up with a deal, and it was a number that both of us agreed on. It was just over $100,000, and I bought the Folsom Beach Hut in 2007.
That's awesome.
So I gave her my little $5,000 that I had saved up from serving tables, and I took over the operations in October of 2007. So the next couple years, I worked as hard as I could. I paid her all the profits that I had.
Yeah.
And I had a partner who I was partnered with, and so him and I kind of split ways at some point. I had paid off the Folsom owner, and I was I was
and running.
broke and I had no money, but I
But
had
you
a
own,
beach hut
hey,
and
yeah.
no debt. And so then in 2010, I opened another store down on Sutter Street in Old Folsom,
Okay.
upstairs inside Lockdown Brewing Company. They needed somebody to sell food for their bar, and so that was my second location. And then in 2013, actually July 4th or July 1st, but our first day was the 4th of July weekend, was in 2013, I bought the El Dorado Hills Beach Hut. And it's funny because I still had no money, and I went to the bank and I said, I need a loan. And after the, the big '08 crash, bank said, no, we can't do that. I said, well, how about a line of credit off my Folsom store? And so the bank gave me a line of credit, so I went and took a cash advance on the line of credit,
Okay.
and I paid off. And again, the El Dorado Hills Beach Hut owner in 2013, I used some money from the cash advance, and they also carried a little bit of the note on the paper, and I was able to pay off the El Dorado Hills franchisee from the Folsom and the El Dorado Hills store profits. And so that's how I was kind of off and going,
Yeah.
and that's kind of
See,
how I got my start with
Yeah,
Beach
see,
Hut.
I love that. I love that beginning too, because I think a lot of people, like you said, you think like, oh, I need 100,000 or I need X amount, right, to either buy a business or and sometimes it's like that. You get some sweat equity in wherever you are, then because of that sweat equity, you're willing or you're able to partner with the current owner, right?
Correct.
She could hold a note for you,
Yeah.
and you kind of work your way through
Well,
it.
and you have a couple
know?
collateral. You have a few businesses that
Yeah.
you're kind of, and
I
you're
mean, worst case, right? She could
personally
have taken it
guaranteeing
back.
these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the worst
yeah.
case is they already know the operations. They're going to say if you default on these promissory notes, then we're gonna retain our assets back. And
Yeah.
so I was able to kind of pay off the El Dorado Hill store, and then from there I purchased the Beach Hut Deli in Gold River from Christy DeSalle. DeSalle is an existing franchisee who also owns other Beach Hut delis, and so I purchased the Gold River location from her, and then fast forward a few more years, myself and another partner purchased the South Lake Tahoe
Nice.
Beach Hut Deli location up at the Y there, and so that was. A big purchase for me. It was the first one that I kind of did outside of where I lived, and I didn't have a hands-on operation, and I had it with a partner. It's the first time I've kind of partnered with somebody as be an operating partner, and we got through COVID okay, and I sold it to my partner. So I kind of removed myself from the ownership group of the South Lake Tahoe after COVID and after all those things, and so and since it's been changed ownership now to a new couple, Leo and his partner Kevin, so they're doing great up in South Lake Tahoe. It's reopened
Nice.
now, and they've done some renovations up there. So they're representing the brand great. I think we have 40, 45, 46 stores open now.
Yeah, that was my next
So,
question. Yeah,
yeah,
wow,
we're up in
it's good,
Oregon.
yeah.
We have a few stores, and we're into Nevada. Obviously, we have a couple stores in Reno. So
And I mean, that's pretty cool. And I always wondered if it actually started here in this
yeah,
Sacramento
right at
region,
Douglas
because
and Auburn, Folsom, and Granite
yeah.
Bay.
And it's funny too. I worked at that Taco Bell
Oh yeah,
right there.
Oh yeah, the drive-through
in
one
high school. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
So-
Country Gables.
Yeah.
So the restaurant was back there in Country Gables Shopping Center,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
kind of the Rayleigh's was the last stop
Yep.
before the lake.
Yep,
And
yep.
so actually, Troy in 1981, when I said he opened Beach House Deli, he was past Folsom, Auburn on Douglas, up by the marine.
I would say on the
shop.
right side, or if
the
you're going
marina
to the
shop.
lake, on the right.
Yeah, on the left. I think it was on the left side, the marina. It was
Okay,
it was like a marina.
Oh,
back
yeah,
then.
yeah.
So that's where Troy's original one was, and after his 5-year lease, he moved in 1986 to the
okay.
Country Gables
Yeah.
in Rayleigh's or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's
yeah, and we're still making gourmet sandwiches. It's still the
Yeah.
same
No,
recipe. Obviously, our most popular is the Surf and Bird. It's
Yeah,
a
I'd say that's my
turkey,
favorite.
avocado,
Yeah.
bacon, cream cheese. Nothing's changed. It's all on still the best artisan meats and cheeses we can find, and the freshest bread every
Mm-hmm.
day. And we slice all produce in house. It's we have these big, huge beers called the Tall Boy.
Yeah.
It's 34 ounces, and we still have a ton of good local microbrews on draft, and our concept's never really changed.
Yeah.
We got a cool kind of surfboard tables and beach decor inside and ice cold beer and that's kind of our business plan.
Yeah.
You know, we have cool TVs, tons of sports on TVs, local sports, and we hire a lot of high school students and you know outside of high school, kind of the younger generation, and they work hard. They love being there.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah, it's always every time I've
part
gone
about
in,
Beach Hut.
it's been a fun, or it seems like a fun environment every time I've gone.
Absolutely.
And no one seems like they hate their job, right? So every time I've gone in, so yeah, I can definitely see kind of the vibe and why you'd want to come, and I like that aspect too. You get the younger crowd because, like you said, they're gonna work hard still, right? In my opinion. Yeah.
Well, and everything kind of changed once kind of COVID as a time frame, you know, with these third parties and DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub, and I'm sure you and your family order just like we do, you know, on these third party apps, and we do a lot of catering in the morning, so it's the days of kind of just catering to the 11 to 2 o'clock lunch crowd is we've really grown a presence in that we do a lot of catering in the mornings, and then a lot of these third-party different platforms that bring in things.
Yeah.
You know, so it's great. And then obviously the dinner crowd and things like that. So
Yeah. So it seems. I mean, it sounds like you've kind of bought and sold and kind of moved. So how many locations do you have now?
I'm
actually,
still involved in the 3.
Okay.
I have them, and it's Instagram pages Beach Hut Deli _trio.
Yep.
And so that's kind of my trio of my 3 stores. And
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
perfect. I'm doing perfect right there.
You know, that's funny because I always wondered why the trio. I was like, is there a secret menu I don't know about?
No. It's just the trio
And
of
now
the
I
3
get it, yeah,
stores.
but-
So instead of running 3 pages,
it was that simple.
It
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
it easier.
Yeah.
So,
And I always, it's funny. Now that I think about it, I'm like, that was kind of dumb to think that.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe it was like a secret sandwich or, you know, the trio. I'm like, can I get the trio? And they're
we
like,
have some
what?
cool sandwiches though. We actually have a
Yeah, you
whole
have a
underground menu
huge-
of cool sandwiches. There's for an example, one's called the Beach Bum. It's pickles with chunky peanut butter and then Lay's potato chips, and it's called the Beach Bum. It's on our kids menu.
Okay.
So little things like that. We have a Mahalo taco sandwich. It's fantastic. It's chicken or roast beef with taco seasoning. We put tortilla chips on it with ranch and cilantro. It's a good sandwich.
Dang.
We have a few things. The gobbler is really good. It's turkey with stuffing with a little bit of cranberry and provolone, and we heat it up, and then we do it with jellied cranberry. So it's almost like Thanksgiving on some garlic sourdough cheese bread. It's called the gobbler. So that's just a couple
really
examples of some underground stuff.
Yeah. So the first one you said, the Beach Bum, is that just a smaller sandwich?
Yeah, you can do
'Cause
it
it's
in
on the
any
kids?
size. It's on
Oh,
a
okay.
roll. But
Okay.
yeah, it's cool. It's
It
like a
sounds
pregnant special.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
peanut butter and pickles and potato chips.
I mean, I'll give it a whirl. It
It's
sounds,
fantastic.
Yeah, really?
It's got
Okay.
all the kind of the flavor profile of sweet, salty, crunchy.
Yeah.
It's got all of it.
You got a little bit of the crunch in the pickle, I'm sure, but yeah, the crunchy peanut butter would probably be.
One of the chips is a
Oh
big
yeah,
crunch.
of course, and then the chips, cheese.
Yeah.
It's all crunch.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, now our menu shifted into salads. It's shifted into soups. We have a bunch of we have a Marley nacho, which is real popular. It's avocado, bacon, and cream cheese with tomatoes and onions and pepperoncinis, and that's a super popular item. So our menu's kind of expanded from just sandwiches to a lot of salads and soups too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like you said, I've never got the tall. What'd you call it?
It's called the tall boy.
Yeah, the tall boy. I've never got that because I stop in at work or midday.
Sure.
But I've always noticed you've always had a good selection of craft beers or beers on tap.
Yeah. Well, there's so many around here. Obviously, I mean, we've talked about Knee Deep. Knee Deep has a great beer.
Yeah. And
then we partner with Loomis Basin to do what we call Aloha. So it's considered a strong ale.
Yeah.
It's real hoppy like an IPA, but it's almost like an amber ale in color. But it's fantastic. Loomis Basin it's a proprietary recipe with Troy in collab with Kenny and Jim from Loomis Basin, and the beer's fantastic. So we do little things called hock shots.
Okay.
So they're like a half a pint,
Yeah.
and they're like little samplers.
Just get enough.
Yeah,
but
they're cool. So
Yeah.
if you don't ever want a full pint, those little hock shots are
Nice.
are our staple with Beach Hut too.
And is New Glory from around here?
They do a good job. We always carry their gummy worms.
Yeah, I
it's
know,
like
gummy worm is
it's kind of like a hazy.
classic, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really good job. And they have a Uba Dank. I
Yeah.
know a lot of beach huts carry that one. And a lot of the local, we carry 805,
Yeah.
from Firestone, and there's a lot of good, just a lot of good beers around here.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, Red Bus,
yeah, right here in
Eric
Folsom,
from
yeah.
Jetronic.
Yep.
Their Jetronic is their hazy, and it's fantastic.
Yep.
So we're pretty consistent with trying to support local breweries.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure that helps them too, right? And someone goes into one of your locations and tries it, and then you're like, oh, it's right around the corner.
Oh yeah. Well,
So-
it's a collab. It's
Yeah.
a co-branding, and it's
Yeah.
a collab, and it's. But it all kind of ties into golf too.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of these, we always have a golf on one of the TVs. We're always kind of talking about golf.
You have a
at the
golden
store.
tee in one of.
We have a golden
Do you,
tee
in all of them, or just the Folsom
We only
location?
have room for it at my Folsom store, but
Okay.
that gets a lot of play.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
golden tee, especially when those guys play live and they play in tournaments, and
Yep.
they get all kinds of guys over there. That it's a big cult following, golden tee.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
a big deal. So
I thought it was pretty cool when I saw it in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still am not. I gotta practice some more, kind of like with the simulator here.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get used to the
I do.
yardages and the putting
Uh-huh.
and what your true, what the course plays and I won't say real life, but on the course, and then what simulator is completely different, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was horrible.
we ever
Yeah.
worry about hitting the ceiling? Yeah,
No, not yet. Not
No,
yet.
okay.
Yeah. It was funny we can't see it, but there's like a hole that Steve saw. It looks like, and you would think where the hole is, you should be pretty safe where you're standing, but there's a good sized
we
golf
could
ball
probably
hole,
name
right?
a few suspects that maybe have
Yeah,
done
and
that.
I think that's new because we haven't seen that one, so I think that's new. Yeah, we've been here a few times, just a couple, and recorded, and that's the first time I've seen it. So unless you just pointed it out, but
No,
yeah.
it's new.
Yeah. So no, I mean that's cool. That's awesome. I always love to hear stories. I'm obviously started podcasts and golf, YouTube and stuff. So I've always kind of had an entrepreneurial spirit and wanted. I love stories like that. Just how you started and to know that really, if you work hard or if you get creative, you can make it work, right?
Sure.
So
And that's kind of the
Yeah.
the organic approach. I think a lot of our franchisees have kind of come organically. They've been a general manager of a beach hut. They've started as just an employee, and then they've worked their way into a position of owning one
Yeah.
way or the other. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like the Dutch Brothers approach, right?
Yep.
You put in your sweat
Yeah,
equity,
put in
and
your time,
you're we don't, like our Troy says, we don't sell franchises. We award them to people that we want to be part of our ohana. We don't
Yeah.
just sell franchises.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps us going. That's what separates us, and that's what people are attracted to. They love that style of the sense of family, and the sense of our corporate team is always there for us, and they're just a phone call away. So
Yeah. That's, I mean, you can just get that sense of how you talk about it, and also just when you go into the locations.
yeah.
So one thing you said, branding, co-branding, I don't know if everybody knows or has seen, but I mean, you've had some of the best merch
Yeah.
that, I've tried. I have my golf podcast here. I'm
Yeah.
starting to get into it, but I mean, I just, decked out here. I mean, he looks great. And then these are my
these
favorite.
a couple golf
So-
putter covers. So
Yeah,
this
the
one's
putter
for a
covers.
mallet. This one's for a blade.
Yep.
And we kind of do these seasonally. We have them all made from PRG, and these ones we've done towels, we've done ball markers. We do a lot of different golf things, divot tools. Obviously, the hats, people love golf hats. We buy them blanks and either put patches on them or embroider them, or put logos on different blank
Yeah.
types of hats. But
And I like what
everybody
you
loves them.
Yeah, I mean, I mean every time. I mean, I used to have another one too, but I mean this green and black one just. I mean, it pops. Everybody who sees it is like, "Oh, Beach Hut Deli, are you sponsored?" No, I'm just kidding. No, but they're like,
Sponsored athlete?
yeah.
We haven't
So-
gotten to the
Yeah.
part of putting any golf sponsorships out there,
Yeah.
but we're probably pretty close.
Yeah, and so you definitely get some shout outs when people see
Nice.
your merch.
Well, I
so,
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We kind of started with, obviously we sell our sandwiches on a Frisbee. So Frisbees are kind of one of our original pieces of merch. And then we always used to make koozies and hand them out to big catering orders and things like that. So the koozies are always super popular. And then, so I've kind of over the years helped out with some of the branding and merchandising stuff. You know, printing patches on hats
Yeah.
and branding shirts, and so it's part of marketing. It's
Yeah.
part of advertising, and it's just a little niche, you know, part of making us recognizable, the
Yeah.
brand especially. So
Yeah. So you do all. We were kind of talking before. You do all of your own merch.
yeah, I do a
and
lot of
everything.
it. So I print it all in a offsite
Nice.
office warehouse space that
Yeah.
I have, and so we usually do seasonal drops. We're working on a website right now, type of a Shopify type account where we can have. You know, if other franchisees can log in and buy in bulk,
Yeah.
wholesale, or we can have a spot where we have a little section with retail, so that in anybody that wants anything, we can drop ship it to their house, and we'll have a few options.
that'd be cool.
So it might
Yeah.
be fold up chairs, it might be silicone pint glasses, it might be different items. The beach balls is a big popular one. Little keychains and things like that. So a lot of the branding and merchandise stuff that people want, we're putting that in the works
Yeah.
right now. So
What would you say? Because I'm kind of trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, or what sells. What would you say be the number one seller?
well, something that people like.
Or-
I mean, if you give somebody some of these little trinkets, they don't use them. So I think it would be great to have your logo on a towel. Everybody loves a new golf towel. Everybody could
Like it.
easily replace their towel that they have now, right?
Yeah.
So towels are great. Sometimes the head covers are great as well. Everybody uses them. It's not like one of these items where if you have one, nobody ever uses it. We have had good success with water bottles, especially anything that's a nicer quality, whether it's laser engraved in aluminum or if it's different styles of water
Yeah.
bottles.
Do you guys do like stickers and stuff?
Yeah, we do. I
Is
mean,
that, like, more
obviously, part
promotional
of our
style?
stickers
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff is. I mean, you could always put a sticker on a water bottle.
Yeah.
I think it's a little generic, but
Yeah.
we try to do a little bit nicer than that.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, but I mean, not on the water bottles, but just stickers.
Oh,
on
just
their
the
own.
stickers,
Yeah.
yeah. We give them away to the kids
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time. So
Okay.
the stickers are always free when you come into beach huts.
Nice.
Most beach huts always have them available, and so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, I mean, obviously, you can tell everyone my favorite is the putter cover. I mean, it's just, I mean, and the magnet. That's pro.
Yeah.
As opposed to the
Well,
Velcro.
and the ball covers and
Yeah.
again, the divot tools and everything that you kind of goes with golfing. We've made some pretty cool branded belts. So we gave one away to every golfer at our golf tournament last year. So
nice.
Slide Belt, we kind of partnered with Slide Belt and we did some cool belts there. So and then a belt's a good way for a golf tournament too because it's not one size. So everybody can get it and then you trim it to your size. And the belts were really, really cool. So yeah,
That's
Slide
awesome.
Belt actually, a golf is a big company, and Slide Belt is in El Dorado Hills. That's where they
dang.
manufacture and make all the slide belts. Is actually in El Dorado Hills. It's a big national company. So
Wow.
yeah, not a lot
I
of
didn't
people know that.
know. Yeah.
It's in the business park up there in El Dorado
Yeah.
Hills.
Dang.
So
So you said, did you say which one sells the most?
for the
Like
merchandise,
for your merchandise? Yeah. Or is it all kind
I
of
would say
all
the
over?
most we probably sell is hats.
Hats? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody loves a new hat.
Yeah.
You can't go
Yeah,
wrong
hey,
with that.
you know.
And we probably give away as many as we sell. Different fundraisers. I've always, when anybody asks for donations and stuff, we like to take a Frisbee that we actually serve the sandwiches on. We take a brand new Frisbee and then we'll put one of our pint glasses and either some sunglasses or something cool, maybe a gift card, and then we put a shirt and we put a hat and we wrap it up in a clear, almost like
the
an Easter
cellophane.
basket.
Yeah.
And then we tie it at the top and we use those. I actually made one today
Nice.
for Oak Ridge, some sporting event at Oak Ridge.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I actually, you guys sell pint glasses?
we do.
Okay, because I need to come get some because I had two, but they broke.
Yeah.
So I got.
Yeah, the glass pint glasses
They
are
usually,
always cool.
yeah, they usually, only last a certain amount. Because
Sure.
I mean, totally off topic, but I've gotten this like weird. I don't know. I broke a few glasses here in the last like 3 months.
Okay.
Just I don't know why. Just kind of either banging on something or just holding it. I don't know. Just
A glass
a
pint
weird.
glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, throw them in the dishwasher. They'll be all right.
Yeah. But no, that's cool. Yeah. So because I'm just thinking, for my point of view, like I love the towel idea. I mean, that's genius.
Yeah.
You know, and just kind of getting an idea of what works, what doesn't. I do think along the same lines, like you said, like the little trinkets, even if it's for golf, do we, if we get a bunch of ball marks, do we use them all the time? Maybe, maybe not. But just kind of thinking of what would be worth, what merchandise would be worth getting,
Even
right?
branded tees. I mean, the tees
Oh, yeah.
is pretty popular. I
Yeah.
know Andrew Hanna, who's done a podcast with
Yeah.
you, has tees with his company on them. They're pretty cool.
Oh, I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I always load up at Yocha. So
Yeah.
I've got Yocha tees.
Yeah,
And then,
exactly.
And then you have you gave me one from Pinehurst.
From Pinehurst.
Yeah. And that's, speaking of which, when did you just played a few months ago, right?
We did. We did a guys event out at Pinehurst,
nice.
and it was fantastic. We flew in from San Francisco direct and drove into Pinehurst, and we stayed at the Holly Manor, which is a really cool old hotel right in the middle of kind of the grounds of Pinehurst. And the shuttles take you to all the different courses. So there's obviously 2 and 10 are the big popular ones, and 8's the new one.
How many are out there now?
I mean, there's got to be maybe 10.
I was going to
12?
say, but I feel like if 8's new, then they had to have skipped, right?
Well, they kind of moved some numbers around, I think.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, now that I think about it, but I mean, obviously the 2's the one
Yeah.
where they just had the U.S.
Number two,
Open,
yeah.
and Bryson hit the famous shot on 18 out of the bunker, and all the food's great. It's definitely the East Coast, Southern East Coast food.
And are the greens really mounded like they
yeah.
say? Like
Yeah.
if you miss, you're
Every
gone.
one of them.
Yeah.
Every one of them. It's just like a camelback or
A turtle,
turtleback.
yeah.
Turtleback. So these. It's even harder than it looks on TV.
Yeah.
And if that's possible.
Yeah.
But it's a once in a lifetime trip. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
To go out and play.
So it was a guys trip, or so how many of you guys went?
We had a bunch of guys from Serrano, so we had we had two big teams, and we kind of did a Ryder Cup style format. So we were the range goats. Shout out, bah. So we took a couple team live
Nice.
kind of paradoids on those
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So we were the range goats, and so we had matching outfits. And,
Nice.
And yeah.
And you played the 2 rounds, or did you get 3?
No. We
Or are you like
we
6?
were there for 5 days.
Oh,
I think we
geez.
played 6 or 7 rounds. We had one
my
day,
God.
a couple days where we played
36?
2 rounds. Yeah, and it's walking every day. Well, the last day we needed a cart. We took a cart the last day, but it was cool. So
I was gonna ask you, because you said you walked. So
and it was all points, and we had it all
Yeah.
kind of done Ryder Cup style.
yeah, were our carts frowned upon there, or you just wanted the full
No
experience?
cart, and it's all caddies. So the caddies
geez.
carrying your clubs, and you are, like I said, the last day we had some 4 caddies in a cart, but for the most part, you got a what they call a looper. So they loop your bag, and that's the caddy, and most caddies carry 2 bags. So you got 2 caddies per foursome, and it's cool. It's really cool.
Dang. Are they just like carrying your bags, or they actually like help you with yardage?
No, they're
and-
reading putts.
Okay.
They're giving you yardages.
Yeah.
They're telling you, hey, and you look at a putt that breaks left, and he says it
Like,
breaks
no,
right,
yeah.
and they know that's
They're
their
right,
home
yeah.
course. They play there, and they work there, and they're good. These caddies are really good. At
Yeah,
Pinehurst.
that's usually country clubs too. That I've noticed. Like whatever I see, it's like the opposite.
Yeah.
Like Cata and Granite Bay. Those 2. I've only got to play them in tournaments, but
a good tip from Granite Bay Golf Club that I've always kind of remembered is that lake that kind of separates 1 and 9. The putts always go toward that lake. So think about on the front wherever that lake is.
Yep.
And then the same with the back. You always kind of look at where the 18th green is, and every putt kind of funnels to the 18th green of Granite Bay.
I see.
And then same with at Serrano. Every putt, I swear, every putt that you're not sure which way it breaks toward Folsom Lake. So when you play Serrano, if you're ever out on a green and you're looking at putts and you're a little unsure which way the putt's going to break, just look at where Folsom Lake is, and that's the way the putt breaks.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
And it's nice too because it's the Folsom Lake is a large lake, so you know where it is
You
in
know exactly
relationship.
where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, to where you're at on
Yeah.
the course.
I've only been able to play Serrano for golf tournaments. I've never actually been to play it myself, but
Well, they just did a big renovation, and I couldn't recommend it more to go
Yeah.
if you get a chance to.
yeah, hopefully one of these tournaments, we'll get to play. So
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll work it. We'll
Yeah.
make that happen.
So with Pinehurst, I mean, did you have to plan that out like a year in advance?
Yeah, we did. We kind of had one or two guys kind of head most of the
Okay.
trip, and we had what we call a couple team captains. So we had it.
It's all handicap too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So and then we were part of a kind of a package thing, I guess. So the way that our trip worked was you played, and then obviously you have the caddy fee, and then there was dinner was included. So every course has its own restaurant, and so you can eat. You got like an entree, a dessert, appetizer per person per night at whatever course that you played
Okay.
last. And so there's a little par 3 course, so we did that one day. A couple days we did the full courses, and then flew home the last day after golf.
Dang.
It was a little bit of a tough run to get back all the way. Play 18 holes, wake up, play 18 holes, drive to the airport,
Yeah, get the
fly all the
flight
way
at
back to
night,
San
yeah.
Francisco, and then get back here. That was that last day.
that's a long day.
A few of us could have probably skipped that last day, but again, we got to play all the courses we wanted to. We got all the perfect schedule, and it was probably about a year in advance.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
yeah,
And just to be able, like, I've always thought that sounds really nice to play like 6 rounds in 5 days or
yeah.
4
I
rounds in
think it
3
was
days.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah. And like Bandon Dunes, like they
Yeah.
do that where you play on Friday,
and that's
play
all
2
walking
Saturday.
Too.
Yeah.
Most of Bandon's walking. I
And-
mean, you can go to Bandon Dunes, Bandon Trails,
Yeah.
Pack Dunes,
mean,
Sheep Branch.
I feel like I'd want to walk. I mean, granted, you're playing a lot of golf, but I feel like I'd want to walk so I could really take everything in.
Absolutely.
Sometimes with a cart, I think you just
Especially with
you
a caddy.
bypass every. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But playing that much, I feel like I would just be like sore. Like beyond my hands would be like
Yeah.
all raw and
Well, similar to
like-
Bandon, how they have Punch Bowl, which is the big putting green.
Okay.
They have one similar to that at Pinehurst. And then
Okay.
obviously Bandon has the little 13-hole preserve course. And so there's a similar kind of a little par 3 course in Pinehurst as well, which is pretty cool.
I think I've seen that on like a YouTube. The
Well,
Pinehurst one,
they're
right?
like
It's a
little
little
par
par
threes.
threes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so you
That
take
looks
just
cool.
a couple clubs
Yeah.
and
just
a
like
putter.
go around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a bucket list. So that's pretty cool you got to go.
Yeah, definitely. I never knew if I would. I've also done St. Andrews.
Oh.
I've been to.
So I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. I walked the course. I didn't get to play it.
Yeah, you saw the
Yeah.
road hole, saw the famous
Yeah,
bridge on
yep,
18, and
yep. Took
yeah.
a picture on it. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
went for
That's
my
awesome.
dad's retirement when my dad retired. So the 4 of us, his couple guys from work and myself, went and did St. Andrews and Carnoustie. We played Royal Dornoch. We played
nice.
Trump course out there.
Yeah.
We went all the way to Aberdeen and Inverness and went to the Scotch Highlands and did, Scotch tasting.
Yeah.
And then came all the way back down and played St. Andrews. And we have some family actually that lives in Carnoustie.
Oh, nice.
So we went and had lunch with them one
Yeah.
day. My dad's from there. So it was cool. It's a cool
Yeah,
trip.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So here's a question. So that's why I wasn't able to play because I didn't. Well, one, I was a single and I didn't know the whole process. So you got to, the day of, you got to show up at like 3 a.m.,
Yep.
2 a.m., maybe
Yep.
even the day before. Who knows?
Yep.
Wait in line, and you have like bring your clubs, be ready to go because they may be like, "Hey, you're going it right now."
Correct.
And if you don't have your
So
clubs and not ready,
we were.
You're not
I
playing.
don't know, 5 hours away.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that night if we were going to be able to play
Okay.
at St. Andrews the next day. And we had somebody that was part of overseeing kind of the group that we booked there waiting for us representing our group. And when they said, yeah, you're going to be able to play, like you said, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, whatever, we immediately drove all day and we went and played St. Andrews. And that was the only way we could
what
do
time was
it.
your tea time?
I don't remember it.
I mean, it had to be enough to
Yeah, it
drive
was
5
enough time
hours.
to get out,
yeah.
but it's again though, you wait at the caddy shack in
Yep.
the dark.
Yeah.
And even if you stay at the St. Andrews, that famous hotel that you can see on 17 by the road hole, that you almost hit over the hotel. If you stay there, it really has no
No bearing.
nothing that has to do with it, you know. And
Yeah.
the famous pubs right there that everybody goes to and has a drink. And,
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's great just to. I felt just cool just being there.
absolutely.
Like it sucked I didn't get to play, but
And it's right on the water too.
Yeah.
It's on the ocean.
Yeah.
It's right on the other side of the
Yeah.
of kind of that
It was
caddy
just-
shack, starter shack.
but I did, and it was kind of later in the day. But they said you can definitely get on like Jubilee and the Castle course. Like you can get on the day of, if you really wanted to. And I was like, it's all right now, you know.
Yeah.
But at least
Speaking
now
of
I know.
castles,
So.
we stayed at a haunted castle for a couple nights. It was called the Meldrum House.
Okay.
And this haunted castle was super cool.
Yeah.
You
Did
know,
you get your feet tickled a little bit?
No, I didn't. I didn't wake up in the middle of the night, but you definitely eat in these caves under the hotel, and it's almost like the Winchester Mystery House of Scotland. But the Meldrum House was really, really cool.
Okay.
So that's what that
Check
was.
that out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we, we love to travel, so anything like that, and we do love like the haunted. You know, my wife and I, we love like the haunted stuff and like kind of just feeling like, I don't know, what the feeling is, but you just like that supernatural. I don't know, like if there's something else, ghosts or.
Well, if you took off and went and played golf, I don't know if she'd want to stay there by
Yeah,
herself.
no, definitely not. Yeah, yeah. So, but and that's another one too that I would like to walk. You know what I mean, and just enjoy it and take it in.
Absolutely.
And
That's all walking out there too.
yeah,
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
especially the Carnoustie and things like that. It's all walking.
yeah. So speaking of walking, I mentioned it a few weeks with Andrew. I think that if we all started walking, I think it'd be faster. So did you feel like when you did walk all those courses, it was faster, or did you? Or what's your opinion on that?
I don't know if it's necessarily
Well,
faster.
maybe not faster, but you could maybe stick to that 4.5 hour.
Yeah, you keep a good pace if you
Yeah.
keep moving. You definitely, and you almost hold everybody else accountable. So everybody keeps moving, and you kind of don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're in a cart, you can kind of take a
Mosey
minute,
on, yeah.
and get there when you get there, and
Yeah.
still hit a ball and go right to your ball.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, I mean, you would think that it would take longer to play when you're walking, but it definitely does not take.
Yeah.
I don't think it takes longer.
No. I know someone did mention someone commented and said, well, if you're the only group walking, then you're still going to be slow because everyone around you has carts.
No,
And I was
no,
like,
that's not true.
I was like, well, no. I said, but if you have like 2 people walking and 2 people with cart, then maybe that's where you're going to find the speed difference, right?
No,
But,
I think you all kind of get
Yeah.
there together
Yeah.
because then you take the car way around the green, you get over here,
Yeah.
and you walk back.
Yep.
Whereas if you're just walking right to the
Straight
green,
to
it's,
it.
It's,
Yeah.
it's almost 6 to 1, half dozen.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I was like kind of going back and forth with that person. I'm like, okay, well, it's just a theory.
yeah.
Like,
So have you ever
like,
played any
don't-
cool
like,
courses?
I'm not saying.
What courses have you ever done like that?
So I haven't really played any of those courses out of the country other than like in Mexico. I played in I think it was La Ventanas in San Miguel de Allende.
Okay.
It was a Nick Faldo course.
Nice.
Yeah, super nice. Same thing. We actually, it's funny, we did ride in carts, but we had caddies. And that was just like one of the best experiences because like you said, like halfway through, maybe like 4 holes in, I didn't have to think again
Yeah.
for the whole round.
Well,
it was literally
those
just, here's the
courses have-
club,
What's the
here's
little
the
station
yardage.
called where you got refreshments and tacos?
Oh,
and-
like the halfway house?
Halfway
kinda?
house, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So you probably got those, huh?
Yeah. So it was,
Making tacos and margaritas.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice. But I haven't played in the Cabo, Fink, Brian and Carson and
Yeah.
Andrew and all them.
They played Quivira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all inclusive like that, but it was still pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
it's,
Diamante is really cool too. That Tiger Woods course in Cabo.
Oh, yeah.
I've never played it, but I would love to.
Yeah.
I've played a few courses out there. Cabo del Sol's, one of the ones that we've played. But
Yeah. Still on my bucket list is, obviously Pebble.
Yeah.
I mean, one day I'll do it, you
Yeah.
know. I am going to go play Poppy Hills this weekend.
fantastic.
So, yeah.
yeah, you'll love that.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that one. I love that course. So I've only played it once, but I loved it when I was there.
Yeah.
So, But yeah, so as far as like traveling there and taking, like, did you guys take your clubs? I'm assuming to
To Pinehurst.
no, oh yeah, for sure Pinehurst, but to Scotland.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
we took our clubs with us.
Okay.
Yeah. So some guys do the ship six thing.
Yeah.
And I've had good feedback with that, but we took our clubs with us
Okay.
to Scotland on the plane with
Okay.
us. Yeah.
And did you find that was like, because I've always been worried of like if you travel with them, they get damaged or whatever, you know. Basically, there's a variable, right? Or they get lost. Or,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, we didn't have any issues.
Nice. Okay.
It's kind of it is a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
I can see that. Or you got to play golf the next day and you don't know if your clubs are there.
yeah.
Nah, we didn't have any issues traveling.
Okay.
No issues.
Well, that's good
at all.
news. Yeah. But you did. So you had to play, or you had. There are 4 of you guys, and you still had to wait in line to play
St.
the old
Andrews?
course.
Yeah, the old course. Yeah. So that's why I said when we used a booking agency called Perry
So they
Golf.
stood in line for you.
And so somebody from Perry Golf, one
Nice.
of the people went and that was the only way to do it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And you got all 4 of you in too.
All
That's,
4 of us got a
That's
foursome,
pretty interesting.
a
Yeah.
tea time. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's and was it as hard at the other courses, or you could
I
just
remember
walk
being
up?
in it that night that we knew we were in for the next morning.
Okay.
And so we kind of drove. We got up super early and drove, and we all slept in like this van all the way down, and we went right to the course. I do remember that. And,
So it was like first thing.
Oh yeah, and we left all of our luggage in this van.
Oh, dang,
And
yeah.
they were there for us when we were done.
Okay.
But,
But the other courses that you play, like Carnoustie, and
everything
all
else we had tea
those?
time, no issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
no
yeah,
issues.
you just.
Yeah.
So they just know that course is by far the.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to play that one.
Yeah, everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
And it's nothing nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
We-
respectfully,
yeah.
it's just
It's just
the home of
the
golf.
prestige. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is funny because we were sitting there watching people tee off for a while, and my wife's like, "These guys are horrible." Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I said, "Well, one, they're probably nervous because everybody's watching.
Yeah.
And like 2, the people who actually probably could get tee times are more of there just to play because of the prestige and not
Exactly.
necessarily that they're good golfers.
That's exactly
you know
it.
'Cause-
And people just want to play. They might not even be
Yeah.
a golfer.
Yeah.
But they somehow they got it. And
Yeah.
they don't do a lot of tee times, I don't think, throughout the day.
Uh-huh.
So you have to get one of those early morning ones, and then they just shut it down like around like 9 or 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody else goes out after that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting how that all that works over there. But I get it too. I mean, I think that's a good way to do it because then if you really want to play, there's a way, right? Rather
Exactly.
than just whoever can afford it or buy the first tee times and then you're screwed. You know,
Yep.
you're not able to do it. So, well, that's cool that you. I'm glad to hear that the other courses were a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, when I was there, we stayed at a hotel and the guy
What
was
did you guys? You were there for family?
just
or
travel.
travel?
No, yeah, just traveling, and we were staying in Edinburgh, and I was like, St. Andrews is 45 minutes away or whatever it was. It was close, right?
Yeah.
Like, and we just took a bus and went up there, and I was like,
So you guys didn't go all the way to Aberdeen and the
no,
Scotch Islands?
yeah, no, we just stayed kind of close
That's
to
where
Edinburgh.
like Glenn Levitt and Glenn Fittich
Yep.
and all that. Glenn Morangi.
Yep.
They're all up there.
Yeah, after that, I actually do have an affinity now for Scotch.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because we took a tasting class or whatever, and he kind of told us the different regions and how they taste different and why they taste different.
And
And
the peat and all that.
yeah. And then the water source. And,
Sure.
Yeah. And so, it was really cool. And once I learned that, and then also he said, don't be afraid to like put drops of water in. No Scotsman is going to look down on you for adding water. So I was like, okay, I feel better now. Cause I always
Okay.
felt like you had to like neat, right? Only way to drink
Oh,
is
yeah.
neat. So
no, they have all their, and they have
yeah.
their Iron Brew.
Yeah,
You know, those sodas. And
Yeah.
they have all kinds of, a lot of their beers drinking warm, pumped from a cask, and they
yeah,
they,
I loved it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it was
cool.
nice.
It's
Yeah.
cool. It's a really, really cool spot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that's still bucket list. At least I was there, and it was funny. I have a bunch of merch from there because I said, well, what I didn't get to spend on my round, I'm going to spend on merch.
Yeah, they got all kinds of shops like right around where the
Yeah.
where the starter shack
yeah.
is, and it's not like one pro shop.
No,
There's
yeah.
no pro shop.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a little
Little shack.
When I say shack, it's like a one person like phone booth looking thing.
Yeah.
And but all around it, there's all kinds of cool like little pubs and underground things, and all of them sell St. Andrews branded merch.
Yeah.
So you can actually walk into any of these like almost like bootleg
Yeah, what you think would be,
merchandise stores,
Yeah.
and you can go there and buy St. Andrews merch at all these different stores that are around the course.
Yeah.
It's unique. It's super different than here. It's not like a pro shop where you go in and buy whatever you want, like at Pebble or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that.
Or you can only get it at this store, right?
Yeah, no, everyone
So,
has it. So
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I don't know if it's there, I don't know when you went, but they had Travis Matthews had its own little pop-up store right there. And obviously I knew what it was because I guess it's an American brand.
Yeah.
And when I went over there, he was like, "What's this brand? Nobody
Really?
knew about it." Yeah, they're like,
Oh, I don't
and everyone's like,
remember that.
and the
That's
people who
cool,
are
though.
in the store, they're like, "Oh, it's an American brand. It's a new apparel," and yeah, they just weren't impressed by it. But they were like, "Who's Travis Matthews?
That's great
Never
that it's
heard."
there.
But yeah, it was just. It had
Yeah.
a little, like you said, another little shack on the behind the tee box where you teed off, and
Yeah.
they put one up there, and I don't know if they're selling, but people were interested.
That's
But they were
cool.
kind of like learning about it. And I was like, oh, makes sense. They don't really know,
Yeah.
the Travis Matthews brand.
Yeah,
I'm sure they do now.
we didn't.
It's
we
everywhere.
Didn't see anything Travis Matthew at all.
Oh,
when we
okay,
went
so
there.
yeah, it must have just. This was, I think, 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 2.5 years.
We went.
Yeah.
Oh, it maybe been 15 years now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
this is a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Dang. Yeah.
yeah, definitely worth it.
Yeah. So, to just kind of, I appreciate you telling your story and kind of how, well, not kind of, but how, Beach Hut Deli came, and I love this. I love how you started. So, if you were to give one piece of advice, or just kind of advice to your 25-year-old self,
Yeah.
or anybody out there listening,
Great
trying
question.
to get started, yeah, and what advice would you have?
It's a great question.
Yeah, yeah. And I know
don't
it's loaded, yeah,
No,
but
it
yeah,
is loaded.
yeah.
But there's no right answer and there's
Yeah.
no wrong answer. I think that if you have the opportunity to invest in either yourself or something that you believe in that excites you, I would do that. There's a lot of different, even starting small. I love when I hear young people talking about Robinhood and these things. And so I think that investing in the stock market for some investments that are dividend driven, with dividends that you can receive from your stocks. And I think that the stock market is definitely something that's great for somebody that's my 25-year-old self. I know the crypto's a big thing right now, this big wave of crypto. If you educate yourself at least a little bit, I think you probably can do something. I mean, I'm not here to give advice on how to invest your money, but what I'm talking about specifically, what I would do if I could go back to 25.
Yeah.
Obviously you're not in a position financially to buy a house at 25. Most people aren't. You're not ready to buy businesses and buildings and these things. But if you could invest in yourself or invest in something that is set yourself up to make the big purchase of a home or something one day.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I would probably tell myself. I probably would have spent less money on things that, I thought I needed then I definitely didn't.
Yep.
I probably would have been a little bit more,
A little more frugal on some things. Yeah.
I guess that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So, maybe even so simple as I need these shoes or I need this, some sort of asset that you're never really going to need down the road.
I think you said it. Buy assets, not liabilities, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And depending, I mean,
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we all could go back and tell
I
our
know,
25-year-old self a lot of different things,
Yeah,
whether it's, not even financial, but, relationships and your relationship maybe with family or your job or a boss or all those things that you could go back and do. I don't have a lot of regrets in my life, to be honest.
That's good, yeah.
I'm 41 now, and I don't really have a lot of things that I said I would have never have done that, or I would have never have made that choice or that decision. And I don't really have a lot of those, to be honest.
That's
So,
good. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on. I wish I would have told, or I wish I've known when I was 25. At least put something into an investment account,
Sure.
or into the stock.
Mm-hmm.
Through the investment account into the stock market,
Mm-hmm.
right, or something. Just even $50, $100, whatever it is, whatever you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't. I mean, for one reason or another, but I didn't. But I mean, I could have done, like you said, forego a night of dinner, or the new shoes or the new shirt every month. I got in a rhythm of like buying new shirts every week, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like, so it's stuff like you said,
Exactly.
like, little dumb stuff that didn't really matter,
See?
but at the time it seemed like it did, right?
Right.
But yeah, just something like that. I definitely agree with that one. But yeah, so I mean, I appreciate everything you've come on
course.
today and shared,
That
and
was
I
a
hope,
blast.
yeah, I hope at least one person, or at least someone can take something from your story. And I mean, I know I have already.
Sure.
I'll probably get together with the merch for sure.
Yeah, anything that I can do to help, I'm
Yeah,
happy
just
to.
pick your brain on that a little bit more
Absolutely.
offline. So, but yeah, again, everybody, if you're in the Sacramento area, or specifically, up here, El Dorado Hills, Folsom, go to Beach Hut Deli. It's awesome. Or even support the other franchises, right? So if
Absolutely.
there's one near you, go. But thanks again, Steve, for coming
Cool.
on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate
we
it.
had fun. Yeah. So again, thanks to Steve and Beach Hut Deli, Chuck here at X Golf, Gavin, and again, if you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, and keep watching. We'll be putting things out every week or so. So, all right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
See ya.